Question. Do y'all's partners have a set thing that is their responsibility in the house with the kids? They're homeschool mom. That's my full-time job. And cook. And night maid, because he sleeps upstairs on a different floor from us and does not help out from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m. Can you tell we have issues? He went upstairs and he went and played video games for an hour and a half.
But men feel like because they make the money, they do everything in the house. No, you don't. You don't do shit. Most men are like her husband at some point in time in their relationship, if not throughout the duration of their relationship. And most women get to this place in their relationship. Nothing is like more funny to me and also simultaneously annoying, because I really try to have these conversations and not project anything that I feel, even though it's hard not to, right? Because, it's kind of like a human thing sometimes. But nothing is more annoying and also funny to me than when I'm talking about the behaviors of men, and though some of them, even a lot of them, may pertain to me or may have pertained to me in the past, people will be like, oh, so you're projecting. Oh, he's just projecting. And I'm like, what? The fuck are you talking about? Now, I get that it's hard for people to understand self-awareness. So when I talk about myself, when I, you know what I'm saying? When I give you guys my stories, like I do that for several reasons, but none of them is to none of them shows me projecting. It's me just trying to let you know that a lot of this stuff I can relate to on a very personal level because I've done it before. I've been through it before, right? Also, I love to let people know that I'm not the exception to the rule. You know what I mean? Like the only thing that if you want to say separates me from most men is just the fact that I have a little bit more self-awareness than most men. And I'm trying to work on, the things that I need to work on. I'm trying to grow in the places that I need to grow. That's pretty much it. But like for the most part, I always put myself in there and say, like, oh, I'm like the average man in so many ways. And in so many ways, I get it. In some ways, I'm not. Some ways I'm worse. In some ways, I'm better. You know what I mean? But when you balance it out, I'm the average guy. I'm the guy. You know what I mean? I'm a guy. Whatever. And when I say that, I mean it more like my actions, like the things that I've done. I'm like, yeah, I'll consider myself to be like an average guy for the most part. Like I've participated in so many bad and good things, you know. But I just had this happen last night. I was just talking about the behaviors of men and stuff that women go through. And it was a woman. She was like, oh, I guess he's projecting. And I'm like, ma'am, are you serious? Because the shit that I'm talking about, like the thing that I was talking about in that moment, it was stuff that I had just heard and read about from like hundreds and thousands of women. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, no, I'm not projecting. Like, I didn't even do that thing. Every fucking woman I've ever spoken to damn near has said this has happened to them or whatever the case may be, or they've seen this or whatever, right? And it was just hilarious. But yeah, this right here this is common, right? What I'm about to show you guys, though it is heartbreaking and though it is very real, and I'm even going to add a trigger warning before we get into this video. It's going to be very triggering. It is. But goddamn if this isn't relatable. But goddamn if everyone, I guarantee you it's going to be 99% of women are going to be in the comments like, this happened to me. This is happening to me right now. My daddy was just like this. Watch this. You let me know.
So my husband and I have been going the fuck through it. Question. Do y'all's partners have a set thing that is their responsibility in the house with the kids? Because we have 2 kids and he's supposed to be the bathrooms. That hasn't worked at all. He doesn't do the bathrooms until they're gross. Okay. So I kicked him off of bathrooms and I was like, I will do them because they need to be done once a week. It's called being sanitary. It's a bathroom, right? Can you tell I'm mad? So then I asked him, I said, you know what, like in my own head, I'm like, you know what, I don't think he understands what all it takes to clean the kitchen. Because he always bitches about how he cleans the kitchen when all he does is load and unload the dishwasher. And sometimes, well, like once a week, he'll hand wash dishes. And he's like, well, I clean the kitchen. And it's like, no, bro. No. The freaking canisters next to the stovetop need to be wiped down. The countertops need to be scrubbed and wiped down. All the little things that get added up on the counters need to get gone through, put away, decluttered, and cleaned off. And yesterday I asked him to help me clean the kitchen. This was before we left for a program that we were doing for the kids. I'm their homeschool mom. That's my full-time job. And cook. And night maid, because he sleeps upstairs on a different floor from us and does not help out from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m. Can you tell we have issues? So I was like, hey, I need you to start doing the kitchen for me. It'd be really helpful. And we were leaving to go to this event. And so I woke him up. He slept in. Like I woke him up right at like 9 or something. And I was like, hey, we've got to go to story hour. Can you work on the kitchen for me while we're gone? Yeah, sure, of course. And I was like, well, okay, just please make sure when you're doing the kitchen, like you do all of it, not just the dishes. I need the counters cleaned off and wiped down, and clean the counter behind the stove, because when I get home, I really want us to be able to decorate. We have like a 15 foot long countertop right there, and it has a lot of open space normally when it's not cluttered. And I was like, I really want us to be able to put our Halloween decorations up there. So can you please make sure to like wipe off the counters and the stovetop too when you do that? Of course. Okay. So we got home 2.5, 3 hours later, and he was doing his oil change on his car. And he told me he did the kitchen. It was done. There were still a pile of dirty dishes on the stovetop that need to be washed. Like, you didn't even do the dishes, let alone any of the extra stuff.
I've heard so many men talk about how like they just can't clean up as good as their women, and they might as well just let the woman clean up. Like, I mean, we know that's weaponized incompetence, but like men will straight up like it's just annoying because men will be telling me when I talk to them, when I talk about how men don't clean up, when men they'll be like, as if it's a given, as if every man does is they'll be like, man, who don't know how to cook? Who don't know how to clean? Who don't know how to That's what you're supposed to be doing as a. And I'm like, you're preaching to the choir. But the reality is, when men get women, they fucking get a case of amnesia. They get domestic amnesia. I'm gonna start calling it, where they just forget how to do every fucking thing that they knew how to do prior to meeting that woman. All of a sudden, they don't know how to do it anymore. They don't know how to sweep. They don't know how to mop. They don't know how to clean up a kitchen. They don't know, you know what I mean? Like, they don't know how to clean a fucking restroom, which maybe they never did. I mean, there are men who live on their own and their shit be nasty. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, I do think that a lot of men do know how to clean up and do clean up. Maybe it's not as consistently as women on average, but they do clean up. There's a lot of women who don't clean up that much. There's a lot of women who don't like cleaning up, who are a little messy, and you know what I'm saying? Like, but it's how often men weaponize the idea, or yeah, pretty much, that women just are like a different level of clean that men just can't achieve or whatever. It's ridiculous. It's a fucking ruse, man. It's a ploy. It's a game. It's a charade. Like, it doesn't make sense, and you know it. You know it. Like, it pisses me off. It pisses me off when I talk to men about this stuff. And I think for me, the thing that also annoys the shit out of me is because I said this at the beginning. When people try to act like I'm projecting, but really the only thing is that I've literally seen like 90% of men fall short when it comes to this stuff in their relationships. If it ain't this, if it ain't cleaning, like I know a man who cleans up a lot. He cleans up more than his spouse, but he doesn't show up for the kids enough, right? I know a man that helps out with the kids a lot, or he shows up for the kids more, but he doesn't show up for the wife that much, and he doesn't clean that often. I know a man that shows up for the wife, but doesn't clean up them. Like, I'm telling you, that men fall underneath one of those three, if not all three or two or whatever, some combination of those. Like 90% of men have or actively are falling in underneath those categories. And then when you flip it around, I don't know many women that do. I don't know many women that do. And when I say that, I am also taking into account the women that have maybe stopped showing up because he's not showing up. I'm excusing them from the conversation. They don't count. Not the ones that are reacting to the shit that the men are doing or aren't doing, but the ones that just from the gate never showed up or whatever. I don't know if I've ever seen it. I'll be honest. I don't know if I've ever seen it before.
So I was like, hey, can you please finish the kitchen? And he like lost it. He was like, oh yeah, I have to do whatever you command. I must stop whatever I'm doing and just bow down to your. And it's like, no, you're done. You're done with your oil change now. Can you please come back in and finish the kitchen? Right back at you. You prioritize your own thing instead of something that I asked to be done for our whole family. And that was at like 12:30 noon, and the kitchen never got done. He spent the whole day belittling me, arguing with me, yelling at me, all because all I wanted him to do was the kitchen. And he starts picking up the floor, and I was like, I've got the floor. Please go do the kitchen. He started doing, I've got that. Please go do the kitchen. Because I've been doing the kitchen for over 3 years that we've been living here. I just wanted a break. I wanted him to understand what it took to do the kitchen from top to bottom by himself. And yeah, it went really bad. And he didn't. He refused. And I was like, this is really showing like truly who you are as a person. And I don't like it. And it's gross. And we've been having issues with our daughter and her treatment of me. And I've told him, I'm like, you need to evaluate like how you talk to me, how you speak to me. If you don't want G to speak to me that way, you can't speak to me that way because she mirrors you. And it kept happening throughout the day to where finally I was like, all right, well, G and I are going to go to dinner by ourselves because like it was getting bad. But anyways, him and the baby ended up coming to dinner. So I didn't get a break from him. And then we got home and he went upstairs and he went and played video games for an hour and a half.
There goes those damn video games. Men and their hobbies. Every single fucking time.
And didn't finish the kitchen. So when I went upstairs to talk to him about it, he had no remorse. He had no care. I asked him to pull up his video game logged hours. If he thinks that, he's like, I do everything around here. You don't fold and put away your kids' clothes. You don't clean the playroom. You don't clean the bathrooms. You never cook ever, any meals, any.
He does everything around there because he makes the money and changes the oil in the cars. Yesterday, I shared a clip of a woman talking to her husband, and she asked him if he would be okay with his daughter, fulfilling her feminine gender role of a woman of doing 100% of the labor in the house. And the dad was like, yeah, is the man working? And she was like, and the wife was like, yeah. And like, is the man taking care of, like cutting the grass and changing the oil on the cars? I think he might have said something like, I think he actually said changing the oil. And then she was like, yeah. And he said, then yeah, absolutely. Cause that's her job and that's his job. She takes care of everything inside the house. He takes care of everything outside the house. And then the wife was like, period. I was like, man, no. Everything that needs to be taken care of inside the house is twice as much as the shit that you do outside the home. That's a fucked up deal. But men feel like because they make the money, they do everything in the house. No, you don't. You don't do shit.
meals. You don't cook. You don't clean the kitchen. You don't mop the floors. You don't dust. Yeah, basically, what the fuck would y'all do? What would y'all do? Because we had a real harsh meeting last night. And he acted like I was a fucking angry, cranky bitch. And I'm like, no, I don't think you understand what it takes to be a parent. I told him, I said, I'm at the point where you can go stay with your parents for a week and evaluate your relationship with me and your daughters. Or I'm going to go stay out for a week and you can use your PTO and parent solo for a week. I said, but respectfully, I don't think you're even going to make it through the week. I think you'll call me and you'll need me to come back just to be an emotional support for the girls because it's going to be that hard on them. And I said, and if I do come back, I will be here, but I will be doing exactly what you do. I'll be sitting on the couch, cuddling my kids, watching movies while you cook, while you clean, while you do laundry, while you do all the other things.
This is like some wife swap shit, but in real life. But you know what I'm saying? Without swapping wives, but like, you know, role swap though. But yeah, like you get to see what life is like with the, you know, with a different person. So if she turns into a different version of herself, yeah. I mean, yeah. You know, I don't know. I don't know if he'll be able to take that.
He still refused to pull up his Xbox hours. He refused to pack up his Xbox. He refused to set up a time limit of I can only play Xbox for 5 hours a week. Because you can like log into Xbox and set that up. He refused all of it. Threw a fit and said, well, just take the Xbox and throw it down the driveway then. Nobody. A year ago, when I asked you to stop with the Xbox and pack it up for a few months, you told me that if I ever harmed or destroyed your Xbox, it would be immediate divorce for you. Because that's where your priorities are.
I told you I had a homie that told me that. I told him that when he has a family, he's going to not be able to play video games as much, or maybe not even at all. And he was like, I'll never give up my video games. And I was like, you should never have a family. I was like, you should never have a family. If you can't give up fucking video games, if you can't give up drinking, if you can't give up smoking weed, if you can't give up watching sports, you can't give up all this goofy ass shit for a family, you don't deserve a family. You don't deserve a fucking family at all. That's crazy.
I already know how the comments are going to go. And it's fucking sad because he doesn't get it. He's not a safe person for our daughter. She has come to me multiple times and told me how she can't get hurt in front of him. She can't cry in front of him. She can't let her feelings out in front of him because he immediately goes to anger. I have begged for him to do therapy. Yeah.
She's dejected. She's disappointed and she's beat down, man. She's tired. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I've never been in this situation before. I don't have to tell my wife to do shit. But I feel like damn near every woman has to tell a man to do something. Teach a man, train a man, whatever the fuck. How to Train a Dragon? No, How to Train a Husband is a better movie at this point. Like that shit is crazy. That's crazy. And men are literally running around here like, it goes both ways. She left me out of nowhere. I don't know where you getting this from, dog. You projecting. This ain't common. Most men ain't like that. We are. We are. We are. Most men are like her husband at some point in time in their relationship, if not throughout the duration of their relationship. And most women get to this place in their relationship. Like, let's just be real. Like, that's what it is. That's sad. That's it. You know what I'm saying? It sucks to acknowledge that or have to say that out loud, but is it a lie though? Like, it just is what it's reality, man. And we can do so much better as men if we just accepted responsibility for this type of shit. She's gonna leave him more than likely, hopefully. And he's gonna feel rejected. He's gonna blame her. He's gonna be resentful. And there's no doubt in my mind, he's proven to be abusive, but he's gonna do the whole narcissistic abuse thing in court and all that. Like, it's sad, man. It's really sad. And it's like she just was like last ditch effort at this point, pulling out all the stops to save their relationship. Hopefully it works, but sadly, it's probably not.